Hello, I am Maya Trabulsi, and this week we are focusing on one of San Diego's biggest events of the year, and that is Comic-Con International. We also want to thank the New Children's Museum for providing this beautiful space near the convention center. Coming up, it's called the Oscars of the comic book industry. Beth Accomando explains the importance of the Eisner Awards and the process of choosing this year's best. Indigi-Con is a first-of-its-kind showcase of Native American comics. We'll tell you about the event happening this weekend and the importance of Comic-Con for San Diego. A look at the economic impact of this huge week for tourism. The KPBS newsroom has been busy all week bringing you stories from Comic-Con, and that includes Alexander Wynn, who was on the convention floor on day one.
The day started off promising. The first person we bumped into was Superboy Connor Kent, or as he's known on this earth, Sam Carter.
That is over there.
It's his first Comic-Con, and so far he's been blown away by the experience.
I've always wanted to come here. It's interesting. There's a lot more booths and stuff than what they show on the internet.
He was only able to get a one-day pass.
We had a game plan and we saw most of it. I've already gone to the Crunchyroll booth, the Tamagotchi booth, the Capcom booth, Studio Viz.
First day game plan for me, it's typically trying to hit as many exclusives that you can get to.
For Jose Sanchez, who is cosplaying as San Diego native Rey Mysterio, as a wrestling fan, the day started on a somber note with the passing of Hulk Hogan.
He was important to the impact of wrestling, so it is hard to hear about a legend like that passing away.
Look at the way he's gliding. Look at his neck muscles.
As our search for Superman continues, we bumped into Clark Kent or Eddie Cifuentes.
Sometimes I don't come in with a game plan, but today I just wanted to take a look and see if there's any Superman related merch because the movie just came out.
But the search for Superman continues, and finally, success.
I'm actually Eradicator Superman.
But so close.
Just because it's my first year, I'm trying to experience as much as I can, keeping an open plan, seeing whatever pops up along the way.
The first year you kind of come in not knowing what to expect, but now when we have water, we have snacks.
Finally, success. We found Superman.
Superman's booth is here. That was really the only thing we wanted to make sure and stop by and see.
And that was Alexander Wynn reporting. The gas lamp is seeing its biggest crowds of the year, and a lot of them are getting there by trolley. Matthew Bowler shares some tips for riders.
Parking in downtown is always a challenge. But this is Comic-Con.
We're back and forth at San Diego Comic-Con. Everything was perfect.
Christopher Cannoli, or Dude Vader, says he's the oldest cosplayer at Comic-Con, and he's taking the trolley every day to the con from his alma mater, UC San Diego. For him, it's part of the fun.
And if you take the trolley from anywhere out of San Diego, you're going to see cosplayers on the trolley. And it's a lot of fun because then your imagination is starting to build even before you get downtown.
Comic-Con organizers say in recent years, attendance has topped 130,000. San Diego City Councilman Stephen Whitburn is chair of the Metropolitan Transit System Board of Directors. He says transit ridership spikes during the con.
Last year, MTS saw more than 265,000 additional passenger trips during Comic-Con weekend.
Whitburn says the trolley is the best way to get downtown.
One of the beauties of taking the trolley to downtown at the Comic-Con is you don't have to worry about parking down here. But what you should remember is be sure to park in a regular park and ride lot. Don't just park randomly at the mall somewhere because we don't want you to get ticketed and towed.
Whitburn says parking is free at the park and ride lots like the Old Town Transit Center.
Park at the park and ride lot, hop on the trolley, get down here. It's a carefree way to enjoy Comic-Con.
Whitburn says he's taking the trolley to Comic-Con because it's part of the con experience.
One of the fun parts of taking the trolley to Comic-Con is you've got a lot of people who are dressed up in costume on the trolley with you. It is an absolute ball.
Dude Vader says he's catching the 9 a.m. Blue Line from UC San Diego on Thursday and Friday. He's happy to pose for pictures and spread Comic-Con joy, as long as he doesn't miss his transfer at the Santa Fe station to the Green Line. Matthew Bowler, KPBS News.
And more Comic-Con joy. A highlight of Comic-Con are the Eisner Awards. For almost 4 decades, the event has served as the Oscars of the comics industry. KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando explains what the awards are and looks at some of this year's nominees.
Will Eisner is one of the giants of the comic book world, so it's fitting that the Oscars of his beloved industry are named after him. Jackie Estrada has overseen the Eisner Awards since Comic-Con took them over in 1990.
They're given in 32 different categories with 5 or 6 nominees in every category. It's a different set of judges every year, and they see what trends are going on in the industry.
I wish that I could have an invisibility cloak and sneak into the Eisner room every year where all the books are just piled everywhere to get an idea of everything that was nominated.
Pamela Jackson didn't need a cloak. She was a judge in 2021.
What happens is you get a secret phone call from Jackie Estrada telling you, would you be a judge? And you can't say anything for months. And I don't think most people realize how many books are there. It's just a lot. It's about an 8-month process of deciding what's going to filter to the top, and then a 6-person showdown with your other judges of ranking the materials. I say it's agonizing in all the best ways.
Jackson is also the comic arts librarian at San Diego State University, where the comics collection has grown from about 1,800 to more than 120,000.
So I use the Eisner Awards nomination list to help with my collection development, and then look through the Eisner list and buy as much of it as I can on a limited budget, of course.
The librarians rely on awards lists like the Eisners, both for an assurance of the quality of the material they're purchasing, but also because they raise interest in these comics. Patrons are going to be coming to the library and asking about these titles. Once they get on the nominees list, they're going to be like, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this?
The Eisners are a fantastic Cliff Notes version of what's new and noteworthy every single year in the field of comics. And so it's great to know that here's this pre-vetted list in each category that helps you know you didn't miss something.
Over at Kamikaze Comics and Pop Culture Store, co-owners Lucky Bronson and Dee Dee highlight Eisner nominees each year on a dedicated shelf. Dee Dee shared his favorites.
It's the guard dog story from Patrick McDonald, who's done much comic strip for a long time. You might want to bring Kleenex while you read this. And if you love dogs, this is great. This is nominated for, I believe, children's books. And it teaches kids about microbes, and they're fun, right?
These picks highlight how superheroes no longer dominate the awards.
And you also have titles like Joe Sacco's The War on Gaza, or The Puerto Rican War, which is magnificent. He did all his art with wood block cut in prints. I'm really excited for The Department of Truth by James Tinian IV, which conceives of the possibility that what if every conspiracy theory was possibly true, but it depended on how many people believed in it.
Elizabeth Pollard appreciates how the Eisners reflect the diversity and complexity of the medium.
The list of categories opens the eyes of those who don't know to just how complex the field of comics is. Comics, the production of them, the scholarship about them is no joke. It is an incredibly serious, moving, important field, and the Eisners shines a light on that.
The Eisners also continue to respond to changes in the industry, adding categories to reflect new genres, and that makes Estrada happy.
I am gratified when I see how emotional people get when they go on that stage and get acknowledgement for what they've done. Because for so many years, people in comics got zero acknowledgement for what they did.
And even those who don't win benefit.
Part of the fun, I think, is when the final ballot is released and everyone starts arguing in the community about what should have been on there and how we got it wrong and all of that. It helps raise even more awareness of the titles out there that people are passionate about.
So if you're looking for something to read this summer, the Eisner nominations are a great place to start. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
Now, Comic-Con is right behind me, but it stretches to venues beyond the convention center. Some panels will be held at the San Diego Central Library, focusing on topics for educators and librarians. KPBS education reporter Katie Anastas spoke to some of this year's panelists.
Peter Carlson brought comics to his classroom library nearly 20 years ago. Pretty soon, he says, students were bringing their siblings and friends over to the shelves.
It's not just like, oh, they like comics, but this is a community of, and culture of literacy that they're organically building. And what we just enabled was some resource and space to both dive into it, but then communicate about it. And those natural analytical skills were starting to develop in some very hesitant readers.
On Wednesday, he and Portland State University professor Susan Kirtley led a panel for other teachers looking to teach about, with, and through comics.
And I think that often people will assume that it's so much easier to teach a comic, when in fact they're very complicated texts, because you need to think about what is the image doing, what is the text doing, what are they doing together and apart, and what's happening between the panels.
And while superhero comics first drew her to the medium as a kid, today there's so much more than that.
There are nonfiction comics about recovering from cancer. There are nonfiction comics about climate change. But there are also fantastic sort of romances and action stories and science fiction. All age levels, every topic. There really is something for everyone.
Along with reading comics, creating comics can help students tell stories in new ways. Comic artist and professor Nick Suzanis says his art allows him to think in ways he couldn't without it.
And I see that for every single one of my students. Not because they came because they're great illustrators or whatever. It's because they're able to access something about how they think, which doesn't always fit into left, right, left, right, left, right.
He says teachers looking for comics to bring into their classrooms can visit comic book shops, look around, and ask what kids are liking. Just like any other piece of media, Carlson says teachers should think about what they want their students to learn and feel.
Anything can be grade level rigor depending upon the question sets that you've prepared and the tasks that you're putting in front of students.
Teachers and librarians interested in learning more can attend panels at the San Diego Central Library throughout Comic-Con weekend. Katie Anastas, KPBS News.
We hope that you're enjoying KPBS News this week as we focus on Comic-Con 2025. You can find even more content on our podcasts. One place to start is KPBS Midday Edition. On Thursday, Jade Hindman hosted the show from the convention. The latest KPBS Roundtable is also packed with segments focusing on Comic-Con. You can stream our podcasts at kpbs.org or wherever you get your podcasts. And while Comic-Con is happening at the Convention Center, there's another comic and arts convention happening just a few blocks away. It's called Indigi-Con, and it celebrates Native American culture. Jacob Ayers says it's the first event of its kind in California.
Reaching back to ancestral stories, thousands of years old, people like historian and San Diego State University professor Ethan Benegas are sharing their native culture and traditions through comics.
It's truly an immersive experience here. It's literally like jumping into the comic.
At the La Jolla Historical Society, Benegas is displaying his recent double-sided comic book, Beyond Gaming and Our Past, Present, and Future, across the gallery walls. He says the comics challenge stereotypes and false narratives about Native history in California.
The mission period has not been taught correctly, and we have a page on that, Burning the Mission.
The stories are mixed with history lessons drawn from his own experience as a Kumeyaay, Luiseno, and Cupeño Native American. Benegas grew up on the Barona Reservation near Lakeside.
A lot of the reason why the comic looks the way it is I went to a Payon gathering ceremony in Barona and videotaped and filmed it and took pictures all over. My kids were there. That's why they made it in the comic, actually.
Now he'll share that work with an even greater audience as a panelist at Comic-Con in the first ever Indigi-Con in California. He sees it as a launching pad for even more storytelling from indigenous communities.
We have not been able to tell our stories. We haven't been given the space in colleges and universities and media, on film especially.
So in this story, I created an uncolonized indigenous world.
Cheg Lowry is executive director of the Indigenous Futures Institute at UC San Diego. He's also a comic book author and panelist at both events.
Johnny Bear Contreras and I have presented at the last 4 years of the San Diego Comic-Con. So each time he and I would present, we would work with different native artists and writers from tribes, mostly in California.
He says that helped build momentum for Indigi-Con. Lowry is co-directing the event.
And so we invited 8 comic book artists and writers from tribes around the country.
He hopes this event inspires Native youth and educates Californians on tribal history and their cultural practices. It's taking place only a few blocks away from Comic-Con.
And we kind of wanted it to be at the same time as the main Comic-Con, just because there's lots of good energy, it's exciting, people are going to be walking around in cosplay, they're going to look in, they're going to see us in that building and hopefully just come on in.
Benegas says if you know your history, launching these comics in the Indigi-Con event is nothing short of a miracle.
It's just a great time to be alive. And I think of my dad and all the struggles the elders went through, and I know they would have loved to live to witness this moment.
Lowry hopes the artists from the event will become a close-knit family, and that this will be the first Indigi-Con of many in the years to come.
When you have a strong family, you can do anything. Then you can be the superhero in your community, and you can do amazing things because you have the strength of your family and your people within you.
Indigi-Con takes place Friday, July 25th and Sunday, July 27th at UC San Diego Park and Market in downtown San Diego. Jacob Ayer, KPBS News.
Comic-Con lasts through Sunday, and that's when one of the most anticipated events is happening. Star Wars creator George Lucas will make his first appearance in Hall H. Beth Accomando has tips for those who want to attend.
Hall H is a big deal at Comic-Con, from major announcements to celebrities hitting the stage and fans spending days in line. As a veteran attendee, Carrie Dixon has spent time in those lines. She's now editor-in-chief of the San Diego Comic-Con unofficial blog. But even she isn't sure how intense the Hall H lines will be for George Lucas's first ever panel Sunday morning.
That panel in particular is why, if you are attending Comic-Con, it is so incredibly important that you are on social media and you are paying attention to what people are saying, okay, how's the line looking for Sunday?
Hall H seats 6,400, but with more than 135,000 attendees, you'll have to plan ahead. That could mean lining up a day or even 2 in advance to get a Hall H wristband. Comic-Con's website has the full rules, but the San Diego Comic-Con unofficial blog offers explainers, and Dixon has a few general tips.
My first is I would not try to do Hall H alone. Working in groups is definitely the single biggest advantage. And if you're like, well, I don't know anyone, there are so many places that you can go online to try to find other people forming lines. There's Facebook groups, there's Reddit. Number 2, don't be afraid to just get that wristband and go back to your hotel. Unless being up front is super, super important to you, if all you care about is I want to be in that room, you have paid probably an arm and a leg for that hotel, use it. So long as you have that wristband and you return by 7:30 in the morning, you are good. You will make it into that room. And then the third thing, just be willing to adapt. Even though everything that I've just said is typically true, every year they change the procedures just a little bit. So you can go in with a plan, but you just have to be willing to adapt and keep your phone on, because who knows? So just be willing to adapt.
And may the force be with you. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
Beth Accomando is also a big part of our online coverage. You can get her panel suggestions at kpbs.org. We have a special section dedicated to all things Comic-Con. You'll find the latest from our reporters, announcements from the convention, daily schedules, and answers to frequently asked questions. And be sure to follow KPBS on Instagram for pictures and video throughout the weekend.
at the Pac-Man Cafe. It's a pop-up experience that blends food, gaming, and nostalgia.
I love it. I am blown away just by the design, bringing back memories of when I was a kid of playing the video game in the arcades. And it's bringing back so much nostalgia.
We have a full Pac-Man themed inspired menu, we have free-to-play games, and we have limited edition products available for sale. We're celebrating Pac-Man's 45th anniversary, and the cafe pop-up is a great way for us to celebrate Pac-Man's impact and legacy.
It makes me feel old because I'm 53, and I know seeing it all designed, coming up, being created, just made me feel excited like, God, I'm that old already.
We have everything from toys to collectible, plush, and we also have the Power Pellets kettle corn, some pickleball rackets as well, keychains, lots of fun accessories. We had a collaboration with Girl Skateboards, so we have some skate decks as well as apparel pieces from that collection. They're limited edition, some 45th anniversary special products. A mix of sweet and savory items on the menu. The packed quesadillas, so you can see the shape of Pac-Man. We also have nachos, and then we also have a partnership with Maruchan for the Mazaman ramen dish. And then on the sweet side, we have the Waka Waka Rice Krispie treats. We also have some cake pops as well, inspiration from our cookbook recipe. We have some slushies, so we have Blinky's cherry slushie, as well as a Turn to Blue Ghost. This is the Pac-Man 45, all inspired by Pac-Man's iconic fruits. Nod to Pac-Man with the cherry on top, and then you could also see some of the toppings. We have mochi as the Power Pellets. This is our arcade area. We have some classic arcade cabinets.
I was really young, coming out of junior high, going home and stop at 7-Eleven, and the Pac-Man machine was at the 7-Eleven, and started playing it there. And every day after school, going to try and play it.
We also have some of our recent titles. We have our new game, Shadow Labyrinth, that is launching on July 18th. So fans get a sneak peek and get to play it for the first time before its release. Pac-Man is definitely a multi-generational experience. A lot of parents that grew up playing Pac-Man at their arcades can bring their families here and have that same experience that they grew up with.
It's so exciting to see the younger kids getting into Pac-Man. Things that you think are a flash in the pan, they're never coming back, and here they are, enjoying it.
I'm just amazed that it's still going on this long, that the hype and people are starting to love it again and again. All kids are enjoying it. My love for it still hasn't died.
Here's Pac-Man himself. Hey, Pac-Man. So Pac-Man will be making special appearances throughout Comic-Con. He'll be here to meet and greet with fans, photo ops. We hope the fans will come out to celebrate Pac-Man's 45th anniversary, enjoy the food here, play some games. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So much fun, and that story was produced by KPBS video journalist Carlos Castillo. If you want to check out the Pac-Man Cafe for yourself, it's on 7th Avenue right next to Petco Park. It's open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily through August 3rd. Comic-Con is a big money maker for a lot of business here in San Diego. It also generates tax revenue that pays for local services. Earlier this week, John Carroll spent time in the gas lamp as the anticipation grew for a busy and lucrative few days.
Comic-Con is almost ready to touch down in San Diego for the 55th year. In the gas lamp, the buildings are getting wrapped, things are getting scrubbed down. Even the gas lamp's neighborhood arch is getting in on the excitement with this cartoon character holding on for dear life.
We love Comic-Con week. It is an absolute holiday at the San Diego Convention Center.
Marin Doherty runs communications at the convention center. She says, no surprise, that Comic-Con is far and away the biggest event at the center every year. And of course, that means big bucks.
We see an economic impact here of more than $160 million, including the direct and indirect spending from visitors, the hotels, the restaurants, the bars, buying things at local boutiques. All of that is what goes into that economic impact.
If you guys need anything, please let me know, okay? My name is Jesse, I'm the general manager. Thank you, absolutely.
Just a block away from the convention center at Houston Hot Chicken.
So we've been here since October of last year.
General Manager Jesse Juarez and his crew are getting ready for their first Comic-Con.
So when we are in the middle of that rush, right, everybody's calm and cool under pressure, right? So just training, making sure they trust their abilities and trust their instinct, and they're able to get, everything out fast.
Just a couple of doors down from the restaurant is this, Eyes on Fifth. Unlike Jesse Juarez, owner Phil Harris has been through the madness for the last 20 years. Unlike the restaurants and bars, for him, whether it's a big weekend sales-wise or not, is hard to predict.
Because we lose all of our locals. The locals, as most people, will not come down here unless they're coming to Comic-Con, and they know to avoid. So we do lose that local traffic for about a week there. I lose that, but if people want something in here that I have, sure, I'm gonna have a great day.
Even if you're not a fan of Comic-Con, seeing the spectacle take shape is impressive. Looking for what's new this year.
Just when you think you know everything about Comic-Con, and believe me, I don't, you learn something new. Now this is really, really interesting. Since 2016, the convention center in its kitchens, it has kitchens, has been making custom Comic-Con chocolate bars. This year we have Saga of the S'mores, Home Run Bar, Pop Star Party, and Flying Saucer. They make 7,500 in total. They go on sale when the doors open every morning, and I am told by the convention center folks that they will sell out again this year.
Speaking of selling out, no surprise that the hotels in the Gaslamp are now at 98% capacity for this weekend of weekends. In the Gaslamp, John Carroll, KPBS News.
Thanks again to the New Children's Museum for sharing their space once again this year at Comic-Con. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Thank you for joining us.